Good afternoon. I decided I'm not done playing with my cards today. Like I said, I'm going through some stuff. In the last video I mentioned I was going through some stuff, so I'm just trying to keep my energy out of it, but there's sometimes when I'm stuck in a rut that if I don't pick my cards up, it's hard for me to pick them up days later. It's hard to explain. So I'm trying to keep my energy out of it. And so I was going to do today's spread, which I found fascinating. It's called the Transcendental. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but I'm not from around here. So anyway, Transcendental spread. It's in Sasha Graham's book. And the entry's about Henry David Thoreau, who is a poet. And it was like a whole movement in art, in literature, back in the day, the 1800s. So, I just have a jumper and I didn't want a jumper yet. Stop. So, I found it fascinating. So I'm going to do it for whoever needs to hear it, not for anybody, air, fire, water, earth, whoever you are. Maybe you'll get something, maybe you won't. The more I practice with my cards, the better I get to know them, the better reader I am for myself, the better reader I am for other people. So I'm going to do this one. And then on the opposite page from yesterday is actually a really good spread too, so I'll probably do that one next. Sorry about my hair, it's all crazy. It's usually in a hat, so it's kind of going nuts. And yesterday's spread was setting boundaries spread. And I feel these two spreads kind of, they could kind of work together. So anyway, I'm using my TV series deck. I'm going to clarify with my steampunk deck. I don't read reversals, and I clarify major arcana and court cards because they're situations of people that need to be broken down into smaller pieces. Major life events. Okay. So we're going to do the transcendental spread first. Okay, so how do I move from an identity crisis to personal authenticity? Six of Swords. Moving on. So there's movement. Thinking movement. Thinking movement. Planning movement. Number 2, how do I move from a crisis of discontent to a quest for happiness? So a crisis of discontent is, sadness, depression, anxiety, whatever, to a quest for happiness. So I got the 2 of Swords. So yeah, more thinking about it. Still in the even numbers, and in my last spread, and I probably should have looked this up in between the spreads though, but I just jumped the gun. Even cards are good. Even cards are good, positive things generally. And usually the swords have like a negative connotation. It's the element of betrayal and gossip and all that. But the 2s and evens in general are usually good things. So number 3 is, how do I move from meaningless anxiety to movement and purpose? That's a very good question. I could stand to get a lesson in that. Oh my God, it's one of my favorite cards. The Chips card. Okay, so this is 6 of Wands. So this is, not 6 of Wands, oh my God. Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands brings messages and change. So far this is really aligning. So there's thinking movement. It's like planning and deciding, and then change. So it's like a step. Okay. So the next question is, how do I move from isolation to a sense of community? Isolation to a sense of community. Well, start broadcasting your life on YouTube while doing tarot spreads, right? Is there a card for that? Okay. All right, so we have the Sun. And the Sun is success and fulfillment. So the movement from isolation to community could bring fulfillment, or maybe feeling fulfilled will bring you into the community. I know when I'm directionless, I'm usually less a part of my peer group than when I'm feeling good and fulfilled and whatnot. Next question is, how do I move toward personal responsibility? Ooh, this is a tough one for me. Personal responsibility. I am in my daily life versus my professional life. I go from childlike nature to just hyper responsible. There's no moderation in my life. I should probably get temperance like tattooed on my body somewhere to remind me to shift gears more slowly. Because it screws me up. It screws up the people around me too. I'm completely aware of that, and it just feels, it's probably a source of my anxiety. How do I move towards personal responsibility? Oh, so King of Pentacles. And just so you know, King of Pentacles is the Taurus card. This is one of my cards. So this signifies Taurus energy. A sensible advice, I believe this is. Yeah, no, sound financial advice and insecurity minded. And that's what Tauruses are all about, actually, is, you know, tangible shit, earth, and financial security, emotional security, all sorts of stuff like that. So this is one of my cards, and it's the first pentacle that's like shown up in my readings today, and it's the Dallas card, which is kind of cool. I used to love to watch Larry Hagman on Dallas when I was a kid. So, but it's kind of interesting because I just told you that I'm more responsible at work than in my personal life, and pentacles are like a work. They're work. It's tangible work, money, finances. Oops, and then we got a jumper. I don't want that jumper. We're gonna keep going. That was retarded. That was a bad jumper. All right, how do I move from death anxiety to death acceptance and self-transcendence? Transcendence and self-transcendence. Okay, so basically, back in the day when this guy was writing his poetry, it was all about, you know, it was like the opposite of religion, I guess, is the best way to put it. She writes here, I quote, the purity, it places importance on the purity of the individual and nature outside of organized religion. It claims people are at their best when they are truly self-reliant and independent rather than following predetermined dogma. So its transcendence is about spirituality versus religion. Okay, so how do I move from death anxiety to death acceptance and self-transcendence? Okay. And, okay, so listen. This was the jumper that I said I didn't want, and he came up anyway. So you tell me who's in charge. So that's the Knight of Cups. So we have two knights, a king, and the sun. So, okay, so the Knight of Cups is, it's kind of interesting. He's all about creativity and the arts and talent and whatnot. So that's kind of interesting, because what I just read to you was about, you know, the art movement, the literature movement back in the 1800s. So that's kind of interesting how that happened. Okay, so let's clarify the Knight of Wands as, how do I move from meaningless anxiety to movement and purpose? Well, ride a motorcycle and carry a club. No. Okay, that wasn't a good answer. I'm sorry. So okay, so changes in the air. Tell us about the change that's in the air. Changes in the air. Three of Pentacles. Cooperation. Cooperation, working with others. And I'll take that. I think that's good. Changes in the air with cooperation and assistance from others. Okay. Oops. Oh, okay, so we'll take that jumper. Alright, clarifying the sun. In the 4th position, how do I move from isolation to a sense of community? So I got the, oops. I got the Hangman. So, the sun is fulfillment. The Hangman is like suspension. It is waiting, thoughtfulness. So, clarify the Hangman. Oops. Clarify the Hangman. And I got the two. I got the Queen of Cups. I'll lay her down first. So she's all about nurturing and balanced home and family life. Okay. So we're in suspension. And then I got the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords is negative energy or one-upmanship. So I'm thinking to be fulfilled, you need to join the community. Okay, but don't just join any community. Don't just like hit up a bunch of meetup groups. Think about it. Join a community that feeds your soul. And the 5 of Swords, I see this more as like what to avoid. Avoid the one-upmanship. You know, avoid the negative energy. But yeah, be thoughtful, be mindful. Pick a group that's gonna nurture your soul. Okay, so clarify Larry Hagman as how do I move toward personal responsibility? I mean, the King of Pentacles. So I got the King of Cups. King of Cups is compassion. Be compassionate with yourself. I mean, don't stop calling yourself out on your own bullshit, because that's important self-care. That's important work. That's work I do with my therapist, is calling myself out on my bullshit. You gotta, because anybody and everybody else can call you out on your bullshit, but it's not gonna hit home until you have the aha moment. It's just like, oh, I'm trying to eat my own bullshit. I'm trying to get one over on myself. And that's exactly what bullshit is. You're just trying to get one over on yourself. So clarify the King of Cups. And I got the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is sensible advice. A sensible approach. So, don't smack yourself upside the head. And, don't let the bullshit ride. Call yourself out on it. Fix it. And move on. Don't sit there. Don't sit there and beat yourself up over it. We're human. Okay, we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna piss ourselves off. So clarify the Queen of Pentacles one more time. So we got lots of queens and kings on our board right now, and the 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords, clarifying the Queen of Pentacles. So this is necessary cutting. So you do necessarily need to cut out your bullshit. Now, a lot of people see this as a heartbreak card, but the traditional, one of the other traditional meanings is necessary cutting. So cut the bullshit out. Don't beat yourself out over it. Call it out. Remove it. Do it another way. Find a better way. Okay? Don't try to pull one over on yourself. That's not good. Okay, so clarify the Knight of Cups as how do I move from death anxiety to death acceptance and self-transcendence. So and we have the 3 of Cups. So as far as the Knight goes, romance, artistic, talent, clarified by the 3 of Cups, which is celebration. This is a toughie. I really don't like to discuss death and my feelings on what happens when you die. Because my opinion, my feelings are in flux. Oh, sorry, I did again. But I'm thinking, you know what? Live your life. Live your life. That's it. Just live your life. Celebrate when you need to celebrate. You know, be artistic, be talented, be gifted, you know, spread good things. Whatever. Enjoy what you got. Right. Like, share, comment below. Feedback is excellent. Constructive criticism, not straight up criticism. Get very defensive about that. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. I'm going to do some reading, but I'm probably going to come back. No, I'm going to do some reading in my books, and then I'm probably going to come back and do another reading. All right, so have a good afternoon. Take care.